Good afternoon, students. Today we will discuss democracy, second chapter of civics. I think all of you have understood the basic concept of democracy in our last class because we have discussed the point where democracy and media are interlinked. So today you will get to know the exact idea of democracy. What is democracy? So let's begin our chapter. Democracy. Ours is a democratic country where everyone is equal before the law. Every citizen has the right to challenge anything that is unjust. Village panchayats are democratic institutions at the local level. They provide a forum for the people to discuss and decide on issues concerning their life in the village. In a democratic setup, there are many such institutions at various levels. You will learn about some such institution in the next chapter. So, we live in India. India is a democratic country. We have democracy in our country, and in every democratic country, every individual, every common people, from the richest people, from the richest person, the prime minister, president, to the poorest person, those who lives in slums, those who are very poor, or the middle class people, everyone, every individual is equal before the law. Our law will treat every individuals equally. So every citizen has a right to challenge what is unjust. If you feel something is not right, then you can raise your voice. That is because of democracy. And if you will find in village area, you will find panchayats, right? So this is also one of the democratic institution at the local level, where the common people will discuss and decide some issues which will have impact on their life. If they are not having good impact in their life, then they can decide on those things, and the decision will be taken by the common people only. In a democracy, every rights goes to the common people. This is a democracy is a government, is a form of government by the people, for the people, of the people. So everything belongs to the common people only. And in democratic setup, there are many institutions which we will discuss in our next chapter. So for your understanding, democracy, in a democratic country, every common people, every individual is equal before the law. They can raise voice, common people can raise voice. If you find something is not good for you, if you find something is unjust, then we can raise our voice. And in a local level, there are some institution like the panchayat. Panchayat is one of the democratic institution where the local people can discuss about the issues which have impact on their day-to-day life. The difference lies in the system of government existing in each country. There are different types of government in the world. You will read about them later. India has a democratic setup which guarantees certain basic right to all its people, including the individual's freedom to choose. Moreover, the rule of law makes everybody, irrespective of one's social status, religion, caste, or gender, equal before the law. So, in a democratic system, you will find everyone is equal, right? No one can differentiate you on the basis of your social status, on the basis of religion, on the basis of caste, gender. Everyone is equal. Every common people have the right. Every common people have the freedom to set up certain basic rights to all its people, including individuals' freedom to choose. We can choose. If you are a Christian, and if you want to change your religion to Hinduism or Muslim, you can, because you have the freedom to choose. And there are many other forms of government. In every country you will find different forms of government. Democracy was there in many other countries. dictatorship was also there, monarchy is also there. These are the forms of government you will find in every other country, but we India, in our India, we have democratic government where everyone is equal before the law, where there was no discrimination on the basis of religion, caste, status, gender and all, and we have freedom to choose. Now, the forms of government. To understand what democracy is, we first need to have an idea about other forms of government. For instance, an absolute monarchy means the rule by a king or queen. So, monarchy, you must have heard monarchy, right? Where the kings and the queen rules. That is called monarchy. Initially, there was a monarchy in Nepal, right? There was king, there were queen. So this was absolute monarchy where the kings and the queen rules. And a dictatorship means the rule by an unelected all powerful dictators. And dictatorship is the one where a person rule the whole country. He is not elected, but he will rule the country. That is called dictatorship. As the head of state, both the monarch and the dictators have absolute power and are above the law. They are not accountable to the people. So, in monarchy and dictatorship, the absolute power means all the power rests with the head of the country only, whether it's a monarch or a dictator. They have all the power, they are above the law, and they are not accountable to the common people. Accountable means answerable. They are not answerable to the common people. They will do whatever they wanted to like, right? So there is no freedom for common people, there is no rights for common people. Every decision will be taken by the monarch or the dictator himself or herself. Common people are not allowed to take any decisions. So, and these dictator and the monarch, they will not answer to your questions. And as a form of government, democracy is very different from the rule of a king or a dictator. It stands for people's rule. People are involved in the formation of government directly or indirectly through the election. But a democratic government is a very different form of government than this monarchy and the dictatorship. Here in democracy, people have right. People can take part in decision making. We are taking part, we are forming the government. The common people are forming the government through election. In election, we will elect our representatives, and those representatives will take decision on behalf of the common people. So this is called democracy. If the government is elected and run directly by the people, it is called direct democracy. If we elect and run our country directly, if the common people, then that is direct democracy. For example, in initial periods when there was a very low population, at that time people used to gather in one place and then they will decide on something. They took part in decision making. That was called a direct democracy. Because people are directly involving themselves in a decision making. But nowadays, because of the population, because India has a very vast population, and it's not possible for the common people to gather in a common place, right, in a hall or a ground or something else, so that they can participate in decision making. So it's not possible nowadays. That is the reason we are doing election. We are electing our representatives, and those representatives will decide on behalf of the common people. This is called indirect democracy. The common people are indirectly ruling the government. Okay, this, however, may not be practical today, especially in countries with a large population. In most countries, including India, people elect their representatives for a fixed term. So, this is not possible. Direct democracy is not possible for a country like India, where there were a huge population. That is the reason we elect our representative for a fixed term. You know that, right? Every representatives have 5 years term. Prime minister have 5-year term, president has 5-year term, so they can rule the country for 5 years. Then again there will be election, and again we can elect our representatives and run the government on behalf of the people. This is called indirect or representative democracy. So where we elect our representatives, and if they are taking part in decision making on behalf of the common people, that is called indirect democracy. So there are two types of democracy. One is direct democracy and another one is indirect democracy. India has indirect democracy because the common people cannot participate in the decision making at a time because of the population. So we used to elect our representatives so that representatives can take a decision on behalf of the common people. That is called indirect democracy or representative democracy. Unlike the monarchies, in most democracies, the head of the country is also elected by the people. Such countries are called republic. Thus, India is a democratic republic because we have both the government and the head of the state or president elected by the people. In India, we have democratic republic. Okay, so because in a democracy, the head of the country is elected by the common people, right? The president is the head of the country. In India, we have two sets of government, one in central government and another one in state government. Like we are in West Bengal. West Bengal is a state. We have state government also, right? Today we have TMC in state government, and in central government we have BJP government. So the two sets of government, that is the reason India is a democratic republic. We can say that we have democratic republic because we have two sets of government, central and state. Now, meaning of democracy. Democracy implies the rule of the common people, because we as the common people rule the country. How? Through election, by choosing our representatives. It is derived from the Greek word demokratia, combining demos means common people and kratos means power. So the word democracy has been derived from Greek word that is called demokratia, which means common people and power. In the previous periods, you have read about some of the major milestones in the development of democracy. The development of democracy means initially there were direct democracy, and after that it became indirect democracy, right? So the common people have the power to choose our government, to choose our representatives. The meaning of democracy has changed with time. For instance, democracy in ancient Greece did not grant voting right to women and slaves. The modern understanding of democracy started to take shape in the late 18th century. So now, democracy, being a democratic country, there was several changes has been made, not only in India but in other countries also. Like I have already said that in many other countries you will find democratic government. So there were many instances before 18th century in Greece, in ancient Greece also has democratic government. But before 18th century, women and the slaves, they were not allowed to take part in any election. They do not have voting right. Women cannot vote. Only the male members can have the right to vote. New Zealand became the first nation to grant equal voting rights to all its citizens as early in 1893. Things have changed rapidly since then. Most countries in the world today are democracies. They have granted equal voting rights to all their citizens. So, New Zealand, it's also a country. New Zealand also has democracy, and New Zealand was the first country who has given equal voting rights to all the people, even women also and slaves also. From then onwards, things has been changed. Now nowadays in every democratic country you will find the voting rights with every common people. Even women can vote. Now in Greece also even women can vote, and the slaves can vote. So this is the changes, right, in a democratic government, because when democracy itself is a government by the people, for the people, of the people, so you cannot discriminate between men and women, between rich and poor. Everyone has same right. So this is the reason in today's world we will find every common people have the same type of right. Democracy is an ever evolving concept. It accepts changes and assimilates new meanings as our understanding of equality and human right grows with the time. Now democracy is an ever evolving concept. You will find new changes in democracy, and in every new changes you have to accept that changes in a meaningful way. And democracy means equality. There should be equality in every field, right? Because the government, because our constitution, the constitution of India has given this right to the common people. And the government is in a democracy, government is answerable to the common people. We have the right to ask the government if we are not satisfied with any of the decision taken by the government, because who were the decision makers were elected by us only. We have given them the power to decide on behalf of the common people, right? And if we are not satisfied with their decision, then we can ask the question. So this is called democracy. You have to remember that in democracy every common people is equal before the eye of law. Everyone has the same rights, everyone has same freedom, even the president, from prime minister, from president to the common people. So and in democracy today, in today's world, we will find in most of the countries, in maximum number of the countries, we will find indirect democracy. Only in one country that is direct democracy, that is called Switzerland. In Switzerland you will find direct democracy. Other